this live stream. There we are, nice and still. Thank you. I love how quiet it is right now in Westwood. It's kind of overcast, but lots of mountain birds out here. You guys are having an awesome day so far. It's crazy. I'm pretty stoked. I'm really high on life right now because I don't know. If you're familiar with how TikTok works, I've had a TikTok for some time, probably a month or so, and I recently somehow unlocked the live version, even though I only have 80 followers, which I thought took 1,000 followers, but I don't know how it works, but I legit just got it. So I was just mind blown because there's just such an interesting community on TikTok. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I prefer the YouTube community for a number of reasons, but I just love the platform as a whole much better. I actually never used TikTok, but I found putting out content to teach guitarists has been a beautiful experience so far. Especially teaching the younger generation. So we're on our way to the forests over here, as per usual. I feel very blessed to live literally 3 minutes walking distance away from just endless forests. I find particularly, it's really good for the mind. And I feel, especially if you're going to say do psychedelics, I find myself commonly enjoy engaging. It's you can just do some shrooms and go disappear in the forest for like 3 hours or something. Wow, this tree right here. I'm always just astonished. These autumn trees. I'm always curious to think of too what other trees around the world look like at autumn. Because I know in Canada they're just like all these awesome sort of maple trees and all these different, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but I imagine the trees in Sweden are definitely something special. I love the crows out here though. Like, I find they're very, very entertaining. I guess, are any of you guys familiar with Eustace Tone? He's this dude that wrote The Golden Dragon, among various other really beautiful songs, like Internal Flight, a few other really interesting songs. But I've actually found, personally, Eustace is a guitarist that has profoundly inspired me. He actually had his one video of The Golden Dragon. He's busking in the middle of some busy center square, and it has like 115 million views on YouTube. But yeah, personally, him as a guitarist and his style has profoundly inspired me, just for various reasons. So if you ever see any of my playing and you sort of see that similarity, that's basically why, because that dude, among a few very specific guitarists, have basically formed my style. And particularly I find for Eustace, what's really interesting about his particular styles, he calls it gypsy style. And from what I gather, man, the mountains, these are some clear mountains right here. But legit, from his style of playing, gypsy style basically is, it's the style where you're basically in a continuous state of improvisation, where, you know, you have reference points where, you know, if you say playing like a voicing, he will constantly add sort of new elements, new inflections to his style. Like, he'll improvise continuously elements on top of his guitar playing, really making it this like free-form conversation depending on the mood he's in, depending on the context that he wants to add to the song. And you know, sometimes the elements of his playing won't even be very aesthetically pleasing. Like, he'll just do sort of like, as I would do here, like strikes on the guitar where it's just like, just all about pure emotion and pure expression, where he's trying to more so paint a picture by playing the guitar in an unorthodox way that's not necessarily aesthetic or aesthetically pleasing. Wicked. All right, we're in the forest now. I gotta move the sleeve or it mutes my Whoa, bro. It's the same squirrel. Dude, this is like the dopest squirrel. He's just so transfixed on eating his nuts right now. What is good, my friend? Dude, this is like the friendliest squirrel I've lost 3 days. Or chipmunk. Not squirrel. What's good, brother? Dude, he's just such a... Whoa, it's all good, friend. You're safe. Whoa, yeah, we're good. Yeah, let's play some guitar for this squirrel here. This chipmunk. Oh, and his brother's right over there. It's the simple chipmunk existence. He's just so present. He's just so chilling. Good job. Wow. What's I don't know. I don't know why it's the yo, that was Speedy. My guy. I find these chipmunks in Westwood, they're just so mellow. Like, that's what I really love about living in this way. It's like the wildlife is just chilling. Like, I've actually run into bears a few times where I'll just kind of walk up to these bears and we just kind of stare at each we stare at each other. Dude, this chipmunk is just so entrancing. But yeah, we'll just stare at each other and nothing will happen. Like, we'll just kind of just stare at each other and kind of just like, I'll speak to him soft like a dog. I'll be like, how's it going, friend? Like, it's good to see you. What? Dude, these chipmunks, they're just like doing these chipmunk battle cries. But yeah, and then these bears will just hang out. Just hang out with each other for like 20 minutes, kind of just stare at each other, and then he'll just go on. He'll just carry on. You know, it's kind of an unpopular opinion, but bears are very peaceful creatures, at least out in Westwood. Maybe there's certain elements where these bears have been accustomed to, wow. These chipmunks are just so entrancing. Yeah, I could just watch those guys all day. I'm not sure if it makes for a quality stream or not. I think I'd definitely watch those chipmunk streams. Like, truthfully, I've never really watched live streams. I've just created live streams, but yeah, let me know if you guys are watching this online or offline. I'm kind of curious, as you know, a viewer, what do you find very interesting in live streams? You know, I mean, I find often if I do like handstand push-ups or something, that seems to engage the algorithm. I don't know if it's a coincidence, and I think when I do TikTok, whoa, it's a giant squirrel. Dude, there's just so much chipmunks and squirrels. Like, for instance, I don't know how this will turn out. Well, let's experiment. Like, if I were to do a dynamic move and... Oh, word, there's my capo. It's my capo here from like 2 days ago. That's crazy. But yeah, if I were to say, I'm going to try this, where I have my backpack with my amp, and I have my camera here, so I might bump the camera, but... Say we're going to do... Okay, that didn't work. So that was a successful handstand push-up, but it bumps the camera, so I think I'd have to move the camera off to the side. That's what I'll do. But yeah, I'm curious, what do you as viewers find engages you in a live stream? Is it just like, you know, random atmosphere, or do you find you really appreciate quality guitar playing? I mean, it makes sense. My channel is more so a guitar playing channel, so it's like often people are here to sort of, I don't know, hear the guitar, but I don't know, live streams are an interesting entity. Like I found the other day, I was literally just wandering, looking at like different houses and Halloween decorations while playing guitar, and for some reason there were a lot of people just chiming in. I was kind of confused. I was just like, what are they here for? It was also nighttime, so it's like, I feel like part of it was like, maybe there was just an intrigue for, you know, different sort of parts of the world, like different parts of the neighborhood. Places for me, it's my backyard, or I lived here for a long time, but I guess it's just people like different atmospheres. Personally, that makes sense to me. Like I find it very soothing. We're gonna hop up on this bridge here. I find it very soothing to be, almost just to take a little peek into another person's world, you know, their neighborhood. It's like kind of like if you use Google Maps or something, or Google Earth, and you're kind of like looking at random islands in the middle of like, I don't know, South America or like Sweden. It's kind of like you just see this little window into a completely different part of the world, and it's intriguing. You know, I actually find once I become a full-time content creator, or more so I'm like funded, I'm gonna start just traveling everywhere. Like literally just like, probably gonna stop by Hawaii and random parts of Sweden and Peru and whatever, and just do the same thing, but just in different places. But also, I feel part of my intention with all these places is I want to train there. Like I want to train martial arts, free from movements. I want to train meditative practices, and naturally play guitar and perform and meet other musicians. It's funny, I found for many years I kind of had this inkling to just basically be a nomad. And it's kind of funny because full circle, sort of what this content world has been inviting me to do is it's inviting this sort of random, sort of nomadic, barred sort of dimension. But yeah, I basically just want to many times just go to random parts of the world and just play guitar for random people. You know, literally just like put out an energy and kind of just meet random people for no reason other than just to be there, and kind of just to explore in the universe and see what's going on. You know, I was kind of talking about this actually quite a lot yesterday. But I feel there's something extremely interesting when one basically allows themselves to engage in places, people, and experiences that you commonly would not think that you would desire to engage in. Places, you know, like different creative portals or creative communities where the universe basically wants you to be there. You know, it's almost like there's a very particular lesson that on the other side of your resistance of being like, oh, but quintessentially, but this is where I would go or be. And you just think, nah, well, what if I just went to this place for no other reason other than raw curiosity? I really feel this is where the universe aligns very particular meetings and experiences that can change your reality and your life very quickly. And I say this because this is actually what I've seen in my life the last like 9-10 months. Is like I've kind of just, out of almost like a deep desire to just shift into something new and to find something deeper, like to open my perspective, to like crack it open, I just started doing this where I would just radically step outside of my own, I'd say, lens, my belief system, and just be like, well, what if I just kind of entertain the idea that what if these communities or these people or this experience or my quintessential model of how I experience this kind of person, what if all that's wrong? What if I suspend the idea of what I think I know based on my ego, based on whatever, and just let myself feel something different, experience something different, let the universe sort of just flow through me. And this is truly, honestly, this is translated into some of the most beautiful and powerful blessings that has completely changed my life, I feel, in these last, like, again, 9-10 months. I guess basically what I'm saying in a simple way is, yeah, it's important to put yourself out there. It's important to show up for wherever it is you need to be showing up for, you know, no matter how you feel, what state you're in. It's important to just basically experience and expose yourself to the world, the universe, in a healthy way, obviously. Like, just to basically viscerally feel the human experience in all its rawness and its imperfections. That's kind of what I was talking about a lot yesterday, but this has truthfully been a pivotal element of my own experience that has just been so beautiful. So I think I'm going to take a moment to break down some dimensions of what I'm doing here for anyone that's curious or maybe watching this offline. So basically what I commonly do, and I actually talk about this a lot in my content, is it's important to sort of begin and have reference points to when you're playing guitar. So for me, you may notice, or maybe you don't see these patterns, I begin a lot on this 5th string, 5th fret. Now I do this intuitively, but say for instance, you know, I want to create an energy where it's like, where I'm sort of just doing this simple 5th, 7th, 5th fret, 5th string, 7th fret, 5th string, and then I just do this tap. That alone is an awesome statement, right? That's a really rich, pretty complete statement. But then from there, you can allow yourself to basically be like, well, the natural progression of this may be exploring some sort of scale, right? But what you can also do, and this is actually what I do, and this is what I think is really the essence of improvisation, whether we're talking about guitar, acting, dance, particularly with dance, I think it's extremely important to basically learn to catch yourself when you're, say, in the essence, or you're in the process of doing something. Say like, I could go through, I could weave in that combination, but if you're conscious of this process, you're like, you know, what if I give myself permission to deviate from this exact pattern that I have here? So you think quintessentially, but what if you're just like, well, what if? But what if I'll go down? It really is this continual process of just pausing, stopping wherever you find yourself in this structure and being like, but what if I give myself full permission just to explore way over here? And I truly feel for dance, this is basically everything. Like, I really feel, now I'm a tutter, like I do a freestyle form of tutting, but I truly feel in this style of dance or any of these realms of creative expression, improvisation literally just comes down to giving yourself full permission to explore, to be free form. What if I just hopped over here and did this motion, and allowing yourself to unapologetically deviate from any form or structure that is there, and for nothing other than raw curiosity. Like literally just being like, if I'm here, but what if I went to, That was a second ago. That wasn't my orthodox train of thought. I was like, oh, I'll go here maybe, or, but my mind was like, but what if for no reason we just hop around the structures and the patterns. And I think it's very interesting because this is like almost like a mental, well, it is a mental exercise for a lot of us, for whatever reason. And this is actually where I found myself commonly for many years with everything I did. I would get locked in patterns. If I was learning dance, I would be like 1, 2, 3, 4. I'd be like, okay, this is what feels uniform. But it's almost like, I think the most key element of being a creative or a creative expression as a whole is you have to basically just let yourself be unapologetically sporadic, unapologetically chaotic even. And this is actually, instantly my mind goes to, this is actually the same I think with verbal dialogue, or monologues. People like Terence McKenna, he speaks to this very openly, and it's like we understand basically the natural chaos of the universe. The universe is chaos, right? It's a very beautiful, chaotic flow. It's non-uniform. It's sporadic. And creative energy, at the heart of it, is this, right? It wants to just randomly sort of find structure in the chaos, find flow in this chaos. And in the simplest right, when you're improvising, when you're allowing yourself to say, channel this essence of chaos from the universe that is in creative energy, you can kind of just zero in on the same truth. It's interesting. There's no comments, but I don't know, I just found that interesting. But very much, I really feel it's like you give yourself full permission to just unapologetically navigate in a chaotic way. Whether it's dance, whether it's singing, whether it's guitar, you can really find this beauty and this flow inside this chaos. Anyways, that's just kind of my random 2 cents about improvisation. And truthfully, if you find this resonates, if you find you're curious to learn more about improvisation, I have some content about it, but there's a lot that I haven't even begun to touch on, because I truly feel, I actually talked about this in one of my first streams, improvisation, like if we think about it, right, if we really understand what it means to be in an improvised flow, to be in an ever more novel, ever adapting, ever shifting state of being, whether it's you're talking, whether you're acting, whether you're playing guitar, singing, whatever, right? This is a very natural, I would say, state. The idea is our body, our being desires to be in this improvised state. It's a very healthy, and I would say almost a very natural state. It connects us to a very, I'd say, universal source or a flow. So very simply, yeah, it's almost like your natural state is improvisation. And this is where I feel when, as a dude that literally, I swear, I spend like 70% of my day in an improvised state. Whether I'm talking about content ideas, or if I'm playing guitar, or if I'm dancing, or whatever, right? It's almost like the more you practice slipping into an improvised flow state, as I'm sort of doing right now, you'll recognize that this is a very natural, innate state that your human experience wants to experience. It's like we thrive in this improvised state. This is what we'd even quintessentially define as flow state, right? Anyways, I'm gonna go back and direct my energy into the guitar, but really, I just think improvisation, it's a beautiful thing that once embraced, once you find your relationship with it and you understand what it's really doing, very simply, it's what you're going to desire and strive to engage in, whether you're dancing or whatever, you're walking or moving your body. And it's like life is ever adapting, it's changing, it's shifting. And there's something extraordinary about being able to fluently improvise and successfully calibrate yourself with this chaotic nature of the universe. You know, you're embracing it, you're surrendering to it. I just noticed there's so much dust and cat hair inside my guitar. Just gonna flip the camera, show you guys this awesome forest scene here. Sounds like someone over there is chopping some wood. Honestly, chopping wood is like one of the most fun experiences for some reason. Just this microcosm everywhere. Let's go deeper. Let's maybe just hop up here. Nice. There's something so beautiful about this kind of untouched, sort of touched, I guess. It's like sort of human touch. It's a backcountry forest. You just have to create your own path. But there's no wrong path if you're creating the path. Okay, I think we found the path. I actually really love this particular part of the forest because it opens up very soon into sort of part of the golf course, which is where we're going right here. Here we are. Wicked. I find something that is so underutilized in guitar is descending strikes. You know, if you're familiar or not, it's got a good angle there. There's ascending strikes, which is basically, if you're, say, going top down, that's an ascending strike. Then there's descending strikes, which is, you know, going this way, so bottomwards, upwards. And honestly, there's something so beautiful achieved when you engage in these descending strikes. I've actually made a couple videos about this where there's something in especially guitar music about basically how to end a guitar song, and also how to begin is very, I'd say, important. But I find there's something so beautiful about the way that one ends a guitar song. And to be honest, like, even if we just talk about this and think about this, there's so many ways that one can choose to end a guitar song. You know, you can just end it with pure silence, right? Which is nothingness. But you can also end it by, by slowly, I'd say, regressing, you know, your sort of like that, for instance, would be a beautiful way to end a song, right? Where it's like you are almost like tapping into, I would say, the nature of the patterns and the cycles of life and death. Whoa, just stepped on a thing. yeah, without getting all poetic and spiritual or philosophical about it, it's like there's something extraordinary about all the different ways. Oh, some golfers. The ways you can sort of end a statement. Yeah. That's for another time, though. That makes me think that's a really good video idea. So I'm going to end this stream here. So it seems like most people are on their way. I'm going to try engaging TikTok. Let's go. This is going to be a first, so wish me luck, friends. Much love. Bless. Yeah.